The evils started by 9/11 are with us today and getting worse. And the only way to stop them is to destroy the official myth of 9/11 and get some truth told for a change. My job is to convince you that we need a new independent investigation of 9/11. Following me is my old dear friend, Senator Mike Gravel. We have worked together for 20 to 25 years on getting a system whereby ordinary people like us can have an influence on making our own laws. Starting with Philadelphia 2 and continuing to this day, Mike is working on how we accomplish things that our bought and paid for legislators and representatives won't. And so that's where I am, in the middle. Richard's convinced you we've been lied to about 9/11. Senator Mike Gravel will say, how do we get a new investigation? My job is to sort of tie in between those two. And there are a lot of evils that we face in this country today, and most of them are a direct result of the lies of 9/11. We are fighting two corporate wars of aggression. We're, looks like, on the verge of a third. We have lost the majority of the rights guaranteed to us in this Constitution and Bill of Rights through the misnamed Patriot Act and the Military Commissions Act, Presidential Directives 20 and 51, all the other things that we got from the imperial presidency of Cheney Bush. And unfortunately, for those of us who thought maybe there was a glimmer of hope for change we could believe in the last few years we've seen nothing but chump change, and the evils have continued and in some cases gotten worse. President Obama has expanded the war in Afghanistan, extended it into Pakistan. And why? Well, he says, this is a war of necessity. Those are the folks that attacked us on 9/11. And that is not true. And he ought to know it, because before he was elected president, I spent an hour in his office in the Senate. I only got to say a few brief words to Barack Obama himself, but I spent an hour with his chief of staff, the same fellow who is now his chief of staff in the White House. And I explained why we needed a new investigation of 9/11, why we needed to impeach George W. Bush, and why we needed to end the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq right away. I even showed him my 3-minute smoking gun video of Building 7.
Building number 7 at the World Trade Center was a 47-story building with a steel frame. No airplane crashed into it, nor did the towers fall onto it. However, this building disintegrated on September 11th.
More on on the latest building collapse in New York. You might have heard a few moments ago I was talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing. And indeed it has. Apparently that's only a few hundred yards away from where the World Trade Center towers were. And it seems that this was not a result of a new attack. It was because the building had been weakened during this morning's attacks. We'll probably find out more now about that from our correspondent, Jane Stanley. Jane, what more can you tell us about the Salomon Brothers building and its collapse?
Well, only really what you already know, but New York very much a city still in chaos. The phones are not working properly, the subway lines are not working.
July 24th, 2001, Larry A. Silverstein, who already owned World Trade Center 7, signs a $3.2 billion 99-year lease on the entire World Trade Center complex 6 weeks before 9/11. Included in the lease is a $3.5 billion insurance policy, specifically covering acts of terrorism.
PBS has a documentary called America Rebuilds, in which Larry Silverstein, the landlord of Building 7, explains what happened.
I remember getting a call from the fire department commander telling me that they were not sure they were going to be able to contain the fire. And I said, you know, we've had such terrible loss of life. Maybe the smartest thing to do is pull it. And they made that decision to pull, and then we watched the building collapse.